Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Next Wave Wellness Podcast. I'm very honored today to have our guest, Donna Letier, who has created a beautiful business around gardening and her passion to bring a positive message of health and wellness through all the things she's going to tell us about today. And I'm super excited to learn all about you and spread your message to everyone who wants to be uplifted by nature and how positive it can be to grow your own food and all the other great things that you're about here. So, welcome Donna to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I look forward to this conversation.
Well, the first thing I must ask obviously is how did you get into this incredible business? Where did this passion for gardening and mixing that with health and well-being come from?
Well, I'd love to say I started it as a master gardener, but in fact, that is not true. I'm probably pretty close to being a master gardener at this point. But we really wanted to do something in the wellness space. We really like data and consumer interaction. And I think it was an opportunity to bring something that has been really growing globally as a wellness tool to companies and individuals in the United States. So we look at Gardenuity as a tool, a new wellness tool for modern leaders. And nature has the beautiful ability to nurture us, but making that accessible is our mission. So whether you're in a high rise in Manhattan, you are on a boat all day in Boston, or you're in a wheelchair in Dallas, Texas, you should have the same opportunities to reap the wellness benefits that interact with plants and nature that are available to everybody. So we really look at making gardening accessible.
That's amazing. And what's interesting is you have such a unique blend of gardening products, information, but also with personalized advice for people, technology to help get them that's very directed, specific for them. Um, how did you decide on that model, which is very unique?
You know what? We looked at the data first. 90% of first-time gardeners fail. We thought we could fix that with technology married to horticultural sciences. So we do have a platform built on an AI theology before AI was a buzzword to make sure people are matched to the right plants at the right time. So our three pillars are mental health, nutritional health, and the health of the planet. All of those three pillars play into your overall well-being. And I think that when you bring success to that, we're not just about a plant or a garden. We're about how you feel when you take care of that plant, how you feel when you harvest some fresh sage and put it in a cup of tea. So
Wow.
it's really a story that plays into where you are today and where you're going tomorrow.
Right, and your blog is fantastic. You have all sorts of articles for the beginner, for the intermediate, for the expert, all these different levels. So what is I mean, is that something that you write? Are you able to harness all sorts of resources with AI to pull that together, like you said? How do you generate
No,
all?
we actually have a team here, and all of us contribute to the blog. And all of us have different experiences with gardening and with growing. So maybe my passion is herbs. But then again, Maddie's passion might be desktop garden. But one of the things that plays into everything we do is the melding of science with how to let nature nurture you. So, for example, we're going into a cold season and everybody should have a living plant on their desk. Well, with our tropical garden, once you put it together, they can take, 5 minutes because it comes with, fully rooted plants from various farm partners around the country and really customized soil that we call foundation. You also get with the desktop tropical, you get a mister. Well, plants love humidity if they're tropical plants. we wanted to give you a micro step, a way to let nature nurture you. So we teach that every day, as your computer's coming to life, take 1 or 2 seconds and mist your desktop tropical plants, because it's in those 1 or 2 seconds you can grow your practice of gratitude. You can steady your breathing. You can steady your mind. And when you get into the habit of doing that through micro steps, it actually impacts your overall health. So every single one of our gardens comes with opportunities to learn how to let nature nurture you. And that's something that's really important to me. I mean, I think not enough is talked about the power of the pause. And when you pause and you slow down for a minute, I know you're a sound bath teacher, sound healer. I think when you do those things, it really plays an impact into you. And so sometimes I'm talking about mental health. Sometimes I'm talking about nutritional health. We have a microgreen collection, and we are doing a program actually with True Foods Kitchen, and
Oh,
it's
what?
175 people this Friday, talking about how to let microgreens really add nutritional density to what you're already eating, and how to eat with the seasons. So everything we do really meets consumers where they are. And we do work a lot with corporations. We are covered by a lot of insurance providers, which is exciting. You can use your insurance wellness dollars to get a garden. And we grow a lot with companies coast to coast.
Wow. Would you expand on that a little? That's a unique way. So, for people who aren't aware of that option, could you tell us a little more?
Sure. So we work with companies across the country, whether it's a tech company or a healthcare company, a hospital. We've got, 3 events today where they have come to us and said, we want to bring another wellness tool to our employees, whether they're fighting stress, fighting through um, a sale and a joining of 2 companies, or we want to bring nutritional health, or it's an Earth Day program, or whatever it might be that fits into their needs. So the 3 companies that we're doing programs for today, they're virtual today. Sometimes they're in person. They've used their wellness dollars, and the insurance company that their company works with is feeds into those wellness dollars. So essentially, the insurance company pays 100% of the gardens going to their employees, which just
Wow.
states that the data that's global and the research that global that is behind the benefits that come from gardens and gardening experiences is now really coming full circle. Doctors are social prescribing gardens, and we reap the benefits of that. So the data is vast, research is vast. How good the simple act of connecting the soil is for your gut biome, how good it is for you neurologically. We've just brought that under one umbrella.
So fascinating. What a cool idea. And what is it, if you're reaching out to someone who's not aware of the benefits of everything you're saying, if you were to distill it down, what happens when someone who's not ever gardened before tries your program, or anyone else begins to touch the soil, miss their plants, have that mindful pause? What effect does it have on their life?
Well, scientifically, it's proven to increase creativity, productivity. It increases, if you have an herb garden that's on your patio, it increases your nutritional awareness of what you can add to what you're already cooking. It increases your, taste profile. When you grow some food, you eat it. Kids who grow vegetables eat vegetables. They understand where they come from. So there's so many benefits. But somebody that we meet with for the first time, not once have we had somebody say, I didn't know gardening was good for you. Everybody instinctively knows it is. We just lay out the facts. We lay out the facts that this is what it does to you neurologically. This is what it does for your gut biome. We've got doctors and MDs and people from the Brain Institute and different hospitals on our advisory board. So they've really helped us comb through the massive amounts of research and study that talk about how good the act of gardening is. But gardening, we've redefined it. You don't have to have a big yard. If you spend 8 hours a day on a boat, you can have an herb garden on your boat. I mean, everything we do is in containers so that it can go and grow with the way we live today.
Yeah, and how would you describe to someone what happens to their nervous system in our society where everyone's so wound up, so much anxiety and stress? If they took this time to be with the plants and nurture their own plants, what happens to their nervous system when they do that?
You know what? When you slow down just for a minute, your anxiety dissipates. And neurologically, anxiety cannot exist at the same time as gratitude. So if you slow down, even for 5 seconds a day, and think of 3 things you're grateful for, your anxiety will dissipate. Gratitude has a gratitude and gardening go hand in hand, right? You're grateful when you just take a minute to, breathe in the scent of sage or look at rosemary and how it expands your memory and really helps you. But it's in those mindful moments. I really talk a lot about self-care not being selfish. And self-care can be done in 5-second increments. It doesn't have to mean you have to go take 90 minutes every day to go to the gym. Now, that's good if you do, right? Because your body will thank you for it long term. But if what you've got to give today is 90 seconds, take 90 seconds and be present and be grounded. And I think that that's something that's really important. If you're walking by a desktop tropical and you think about what words you've planted in that garden, then that starts to really become part of your focus. If you've got an outdoor herb garden, and we've got technology to help you keep it, alive and thriving. So if you've got an outdoor herb garden, you will get weather alerts from us down to the zip code that say, hey, Desmond's going to be a little cold for your herb garden tonight. Bring it inside. Well,
Wow.
so that elongates the season for you, but also the idea of letting all of your senses become part of the gardening experience, I think is something that's really important to know.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. One of the reasons I've loved being a fisherman is in this modern technological world of ours, fishing connected me to the rhythms of nature, the moon cycle, the seasons, the migration of the birds, the tides, the flow of the weather. I'm my family always laughs at me. They say you should have been a weatherman because as a fisherman you constantly study weather patterns, cloud patterns. I can read the sky. I can see what birds are in our area, knowing what time of year it is and all these patterns. And I feel like that kept me grounded my whole life, being in touch with the energy of the earth, the rhythms of nature, because we're not apart from nature, though many of us sadly get isolated in our lives in cubicles and offices and all these things. So I think what you're sharing with people is if you can bring something in, like being in touch with your herb garden and knowing, hey, wait, tonight's getting really cold. I didn't even check the weather, but it becomes like an extension of you. You want these plants to flourish, but now it's connecting you with that season and the flow and the weather that's coming in. I think it brings those elements together for people.
Think it absolutely does. For me, I'm a morning person, right? I like to be up well before the sun rises.
Me too.
And seeing the sunrise helps your circadian rhythm to sleep later at night. So for me, I love watching the sunrise, looking at my gardens and seeing what's grown or what needs nurturing. And it kind of steadies myself for the day. I've got a child with severe disabilities who requires 24-hour care. And so in the morning when she's still sleeping, it's my moment of mindfulness to be present with me. And that gift of whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes is a gift I give myself. That's part of my self-care routine.
Yeah, me too. I'm a morning person. I love being in the rhythms of the sunrise and the sunset and the moon cycle and the seasons too. For us here, I'm in the Northeast in New York, and it's getting cold now, and just letting yourself slow down a bit. And that's what's nice in the seasons of a fisherman. I can fish in the winter. I did that for many years, but it's just a different energy as compared to the springtime. And I really honoring those seasons. And not, it's what's sad is that we have to artificially push ourselves so hard in January when it's 12 degrees outside and there's very little sunlight, and that's not natural. And you wonder why we develop all these anxiety disorders and stress disorders, right?
Well,
So,
it's interesting.
it,
So, a great example. So, January is dark and gloomy, right? And putting aside the fact that half of us are battling with the New Year's resolutions, they're already off track one week in, right? So, that's a whole nother side of the brain. But things like amaryllis bulbs were bred originally to bring light to the darkest months of the year. Now they've pushed them forward and harvested them early. Like here's an amaryllis, right? And so they
beautiful.
are, and this is no soil, no watering required. It's wax dipped and it's from Peru. So it's enveloped in wax, but this flower in particular was originally bred to bring this lightness to the darkest months of the year. And watching a flower bloom is good for your mental health. So whether maybe you're inside because it's just too cold and gloomy, but actually watching a flower unfold brings you the idea that spring is ahead, even if it's 3 or 4 months down the road.
Yeah, I got to get one of those for January.
Yeah, it's really lovely to see this color come to life right on your desk. And nature is full of miracles. And so if we actually learn about, why these were originally bred, yes, we've moved it up to where they're harvested early so you can enjoy them through the holiday season. But I always have one blooming on my desk.
Nice.
It just makes you happy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, one of the really cool aspects of your business is you've been able to blend, as you said, this idea of technology and personalized data direct to people and their zip codes. And where did you come up with that idea? And tell us a little more about that. I know you can't reveal your secret, technology patents, but tell us a little more how that all works.
You know what? My secret is my co-founder. She's
Okay.
crazy smart. So I can
Yeah.
come up with an idea of an algorithm and she actually gets it built. So
Wow.
the idea is called Gardenuity Match. So
Right.
with 90% of first-time gardeners failing, you have to think about why. Well, they're planting the wrong thing at the wrong time in the wrong soil with the wrong nutrients. So we developed Gardenuity Match that for outdoor gardens looks at predictive weather and time to harvest and several other attributes. Once we nail that, then we look at what the plants need to thrive, what the soil needs to feed the roots of the plant. So we've worked with horticulturalists to decide and to define what goes in each kit. So a tomato is going to have different nutrient needs than leafy greens. And there are different times to plant that, just like succulents have a different soil need than tropical plants. So match is this algorithm that really matches together the realities of how we live today. And it's not a one size fits all, just like it's not one soil fits all. When you have a really good soil system that's matched to the plant needs, then you're going to have a robust season.
Yeah. Now, are most of your customers retail, and they'll come in, they'll match themselves with your tech and then say, okay, I'd like to plant. Yeah, I know you have different kits, you have different types of plants, you have all different fun things from, I know you say everything comes in a pot, right? So basically everyone gets a kit that they can grow. It's not, you're not selling anything on, like a large scale plant delivery service or anything like that. It's all
That's correct.
individualized things, right?
Well, and
Which
the
is
best
great
way to
for
describe
us
it,
New Yorkers,
well, yeah.
with not a lot
So
of land to grow stuff on.
in New York right now, you're not going to really probably match to any outdoor unless it's a salad garden, which is cool weather crops that taste sweeter after a first freeze, and some cool weather herbs. If you're in Madison, Wisconsin, right now, where the average temperature is below 32, what you're going to match to is a giftable garden. That actually was the idea of one of our customers. And so you get a kit, and inside the kit is a QR code. So when you're ready to get going and planting, you scan it and it'll match to the plants that are perfect for the time of year you're planting it. So I'm not going to send you a tomato plant in New York right now because
Oh,
it's not going to work. It's not.
right,
But other
right.
companies do. They think they have the buyer beware. I'm not going to do that because I don't need anybody else to have another
Yes.
successful. So we've just mirrored the plant opportunities around where you are.
It sounds like a wonderful gift idea.
It's a great gift idea because people don't need more stuff, right? And this is an experience. And so the idea of the giftable garden actually came from a customer, a gentleman who ordered a garden from us and called after Christmas and said it was his first Christmas married to his new wife. And the theme of their Christmas was growing old together. He goes, I got it. And he was really upset. He goes, this was the worst thing I've ever given. Worst Christmas morning. And I said, well, why? And he said, because I ordered it. I got it right away, wrapped it up and put it under the tree. So he wrapped up live plants in a dark box for 3 weeks. So of
My
course, when
goodness.
he opened it, they were dead. So he and I together came up with the idea of the giftable garden. So here's a gift. Here's this great kit, but inside is not live plants. It's a
Right.
card that invites me to get the plants when I'm ready. So because of his unfortunate Christmas morning experience and the fact he took time to call and yell at us, through a long conversation together, we came up with the idea of the giftable garden.
Isn't that great? And how so many great ideas are born through mistakes, doing things
100%.
the wrong way. You have to rethink
100%.
it, and then you go, aha, this is the way to do it. So that's a really
That's
cool
exactly
story.
right. And note
Yeah.
to self, never wrap up plants, never wrap up live goods for 3 weeks.
No, I mean, obviously, right? It's like someone who comes on my boat and they catch some fish nice and fresh, and then they go and they leave it out on the counter for 3 days, and then they wonder why it doesn't taste good, right? I mean, same
That's right.
difference. Though.
That's right. Common
Yeah.
sense matters.
So tell me the vision of your company now. If you could wave that magic wand and spread your message far and wide, what is it that you would love to do in the next year coming up to grow your company?
I would love everybody to experience the well-being benefits that come from experiencing a garden, because it's not just the planting, it's the how you feel when you nurture it. And so once somebody, we're the gateway, right? Once somebody experiences success, they want to grow their idea of what gardening could mean for them. So the more people enjoy the process and the moments that come with it, is a win for me, but it's also a win for.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how do you go about reaching people? What is your goals, and how do you strategize? I mean, from one business owner to another, it's all about reaching people, growing, it there's so many ways, there's so much noise out there, but what is your approach now to try to bring more people, introduce them to your offerings here?
I think the best thing we can do as human beings to support other entrepreneurs is to be ambassadors. So you're telling my story through this podcast. So somebody who knows you and trusts you might come to my website and give it a try. So I think we all have the opportunity to be influencers, even if we're not monetizing it. We tell those that we love and those that we know about something we've encountered, and that's how I think other businesses grow. So when I tell my pals about, oh my gosh, you have to listen to this podcast. He's great. He's got this really interesting story. He's built this journey and is open to sharing it. Then you're going to have new people hearing. So I get to share you with people in my circle, and that's.
I agree. Yeah, I agree too. And that's why I love just talking to other visionaries like yourself who just that are alive with the spirit of generosity and abundance and just want the world to be a better place. And that organic growth is wonderful. And I definitely, it's the cornerstone of my business. And people just telling their family and friends and coming back over and over again and repeat business and just nurturing your customers and just trying to do the right thing always, be honest, all these things. Um, but beyond that, do you employ, I know you're seem very advanced with all your tech and all this stuff. Have you guys employed any of these new AI type lead generation funnels or anything beyond just the organic outreach to try to introduce more people to your products?
We have, and we are very fortunate because we work with so many extraordinary corporations, and we are introduced to people through their company, which gives us kind of a foot in the door because it's an automatic endorsement if your company introduces this brand to you, and then they have a great experience, so then they come back on their own to add to their garden, which is good.
So is that your main leverage point, is that if you can meet companies who then can introduce you to or let you do a presentation or help with a wellness day or that sort of thing, is that your main point of leverage
We've
in
got a lot
growing?
of different channels that we work with. Certainly, our B2B channel is a nice, loud voice for us, and allows us to tell the story. We have been very fortunate because we're really the first gardening company that's doing what we're doing with media opportunities. And we utilize, friend to friend social. I mean, we got, a great team who does our social media for us. And I think they do a really nice job. That's not our priority. Our priority really is authentically telling the story.
Right. It sounds like you're leveraging so many different channels, and you're so generous to come on this podcast with me and just talk to me and share the word. And you got another customer, by the way, because my wife is passionate about gardening. She just got into it this year and flowers and stuff. So I definitely know a few trinkets that I might get for Christmas. Might just be the QR code thing for the winter here, but
Yeah, absolutely. And
but
and
I'm
think
going to
about the bulbs.
tell people about this. And I send presents to my customers sometimes and whatnot. This is in the back of my mind now. What a unique gift, beyond sending a fruit basket or brownies or something,
That is true. Thank you very much. That's how we've been blessed, and it's our job to share other story as well.
Yeah. Now, just the final questions before we wrap up. What, because I love you guys are so cutting edge with this, and just my entrepreneurial brain always loves to see how companies have figured out like that blend of, again, we could be the greatest at what we do, but if nobody knows about us, then it's hard to stay in business, right? So if you could just wave a magic wand, what are the main goals that you would have
You
in this
froze.
upcoming year, to besides just I want to reach lots of people, but what do you focus on now as a business owner that you could share with other entrepreneurs trying to grow their business that you think is going to really expand your customer base this year?
To whom much is given, much is required. And if you are an entrepreneur and you have a network of people, share that network with them, then that is tenfold and comes back beautifully. Last night, we had an opportunity to host a new Dougal who's the founder of Female Founders Fund. And she brought a new entrepreneur, Ashley Fields, to the event. And we just got to share their story with our network. And I think that's something that's really beautiful to do. We help others grow because they help us grow.
And one last thing, just supporting other entrepreneurs out there trying to spread their word. Everybody finds these stumbling blocks in their business that takes you from your passion, takes you from your genius, and you get embroiled in minutia and the bottlenecks of business. Could you give us just one example where that happened to you, and then what were the insights you learned and that you could share with someone else who might be struggling?
It happens every day. I mean, literally 2 or 3 times a day. You know, I'm
Yeah.
a big, to-do list fan, and so I write what I wanna get accomplished, and I get derailed every day. Almost something derails me every hour, so sometimes I just kind of put blinders on and say, "You guys, I need an hour for Jillian." Other than that, you know, I'm focused. I will tell you, I think it's important to set boundaries. For me, um, I have the boundary that, you know, from 8 to 9 at night is bath time for Jillian. And so that's my time for me to be face to face with her without the phone, without the iPad. So I'm happy to take calls after that and right up to that time. But really,
Oh, and then you take calls after that, like a true entrepreneur,
there's
in
no off time.
the hustle. Yeah, and I think what you said is so important that if you don't control your time, then someone else will dictate it for you, just like your email inbox is somebody else's agenda dictating to you your time, right? So, really, really taking ownership of that. Lastly, are there any, you guys are such a neat mix of tech and wellness, such a neat blend, my exact type of company that I want to reach out to explore this because those are my two passions. Is there anything that other entrepreneurs can explore right now that you think is really helping you to grow, to expand, or maybe you say like you get derailed a lot in the background, and this is are there things that help you automate or systematize like what have you improved on here in this last year with all this great AI tech that's out there that's helped you, do you think?
Well, certainly ChatGPT. Um, it gives me the better version of myself, and helps me manage to-dos. Um, and it gives me, I've trained it to give me the satisfaction of actually checking off something that gets done, which
Nice.
is really lovely, because it's psychological for me sometimes. So my counsel to other entrepreneurs would be, there's always going to be a shiny new widget that claims it's gonna make life easier for you. But you have to look at your realities. I mean, if it's gonna take 30 minutes a day just to manage that tech, that's 30 minutes a day you're not accomplishing something. So you just have to think where your pain points are and try to figure it out. And I also have to say, putting yourself on your to-do list is really critical because if you don't take care of you, nobody else is gonna take care of you.
Beautiful. Well said. Well said. And I appreciate your time here. I know you're a busy woman, and I don't want you to have to take calls after 9 p.m. tonight. So I will
Well,
let you
thank
go
you.
and tell people where they can find you and how they can access your amazing products and information.
Sure. At gardenuity.com. Gardenuity means ingenuity in the garden. So it's
Great.
gardenuity.com, or you can follow me at Donna Spafford Letier on LinkedIn. And I do a lot of sharing there about other companies.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Donna, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care.